What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's been a long time since I've recorded. I'm not really sure how this episode's going to go down. We're chilling here on top of our Magnum Torch, our completed Magnum Torch. I don't even know what you guys saw last. Bit of a spoiler there. Yeah. We're chilling on top of our Magnum Torch. I haven't played this too much since the last recording, since the last episode went out. Just bits and pieces here and there. A lot of stuff has happened, and I don't know how I'm going to address everything that's happened to cause the delay. But first and foremost, I'm very sorry. For those of you that have stuck around and stayed subbed, thank you so much. For those of you who kept watching and commenting on things, awesome. Thank you so much. And hopefully you'll enjoy these videos in this series as we continue. Some good news about the series. I have a bit more direction for it now. And that wasn't really the issue. I had some ideas before, but now I'm just going to shift that a little bit because I have an even more better idea. More better. Much more better. So, I'm not entirely certain what you guys have seen up to this point because I have some backlogged episodes that if I can get around to editing, I will be producing and putting up on YouTube with an archive tag on them. What you guys probably won't have seen, though, is this Magnum Tower for certain, amongst many other things. Woo! So, we're going to address that a little, oh boy, a little bit. Obviously, there's a forestry building there, but we'll talk about that in a second. I need to try and get down here to a point where there's less spoilers. Okay, so, depending on what you guys have seen, this is my Magnum Torch production facility. It's designed like a big Magnum Torch. It works like a big Magnum Torch. And inside are all of the components necessary to making a Magnum Torch. This will be in an archive episode, so I'm not going to go into it too in-depth, but just know that everything that's necessary to be produced for the Magnum Torch is being produced in this building with the exception of my actual income of gold. Gold and diamonds are obviously being pulled in from my main system. Gold, diamonds, and coal. But, and glowstone and nether wart, and so basically everything that you'd have to farm either by mining or farming mobs or whatever. Let me just adjust my mic a little bit. They're all in, all in my magical crop system. So that's happening there. So this is the Magnum Torch, place. I don't really need to worry. I don't know why there's a hole in the floor here. Worry about getting in and out of here because I don't come in here ever. But basically, we have a surplus, and I have some guys on the server that have copies of this. This is a B-Space barrel. So there's a couple guys in the server that each have a B-Space barrel in their base. However, I may be needing to change that, unfortunately. So we'll discuss that. So that was kind of where we left off, but I've done a whole bunch of work since. Part of it is for this new direction. Obviously, we also were using Sphax before. Let me slow down a bit here. I'm going to tucker myself out. It's been so long. We were using Sphax before. I switched to Faithful for the time being just because I like to change things up from time to time, but I do love Sphax, so we'll probably go back to that at some point. Who knows? For now, we're using the Faithful, the most up-to-date version as of a couple days ago, which would have been the last week or so of October. So, Magnum Torch production facility doesn't really have a lot to do with the direction that we've gone. The pack has been updated several times. This iron plate is a bit of a hint as to what we've added, but only really updated several times lately. So, we've added a lot, and a lot of my new direction is based on the mods that I've been adding, and the pack is going to get a bit of an overhaul, hopefully, here over the next little while. My plan was to do some bee work, and that may still be something we do. And so I set up this building and to do some dentistry, so I did a massive laser assembly pretty much. And other machines for bees would be in here, and I could kind of branch out with external farms. So that's kind of the plan. Let's see here. What else has changed that I can show you without turning around? That's pretty much it. If we come here, this is what was going to be our molecular assembler containment room. That was the first building I built in this theme of stuff that looks like the building it's being used from, or the mod it's being used for. That's no longer the case. This is going to be our just memento to the building that kind of launched off this theme, and it's got our plans in it, kind of. So, and then we come back over here and we see our ME system and a weird system over here. So one of the mods we've added is storage drawers. This may or may not be replacing Java altogether, so I may have to get rid of that barrel. That's what I was talking about. I've been playing a lot of Beyond Reality Divergence. Go check it out on the AT launcher if you haven't played it. Let me tell you, if you're kind of bored with Minecraft and the typical vanilla or the typical like kitchen sink style packs that are out there right now, definitely check out Divergence. It's a really good mix of some not so well-known mods, some well-known but not very often used mods, and a lot of those mods that like a lot of kitchen sinks have but nobody really plays with a lot, like Railcraft and Buildcraft that every kitchen sink has but they're rarely used as a main focus. You're kind of forced to go through a certain direction. So go check out Divergence. It will make you do things in Minecraft you haven't needed to do or haven't really wanted to do. And that might sound bad, but it actually makes for a really interesting playthrough. I'm nowhere near done. I streamed a bunch of it, but it's been a lot of fun to do that. So, anywho, I've been playing a lot of Beyond Reality Divergence. So I've been playing a lot of Minecraft, but the timing in which I could be playing Minecraft has not lent itself to recording. And so I don't remember if you guys have seen this, but over on Divergence, we were using storage drawers, and Taco and I kind of fell in love with these a little bit. I've used them before, but I never really appreciated them until now. So we put them in the pack. One of the nice things about it is the upgrade system isn't iterative. Like it doesn't require the previous version in it. So I just have 3 of the emerald upgrades, which I have set to autocraft in my system if I need them, with a fill level, which is what this red bar is, that you're not really seeing because it's only got 4,000, but this will slowly become a red bar, much like the caches. Oops. And it'll fill up with drones. And then once it's full, it'll just destroy the excess. So, I mean, I do love that system right there. So that's the biggest thing that it's missing, is that B space from Java. Other than that, so it's missing B space. That's not great, but it doesn't really bother me that much. The fact that you can't interact with them from the sides is extremely annoying to me. Very annoying. So that's that. Anyway, so this is a system to get brown dye that I was going to use for the brown quartz for this building, but I did not. Okay. So it's been about, I got a couple more minutes here to talk about some changes. What's this change that I can actually talk about? That's a spoiler and a half. Let's see here. What else have we changed? We added enhanced inventories, which is very similar to iron chests, but it has a bit more functionality with some upgrades and stuff. Reinforced upgrades, for example, to stop it from exploding. Hopper upgrades, right? Like all sorts of good stuff. Auto crafting and work tables, kind of like the project table, stuff like that. But the chests are also a lot bigger. So like tier 5 is essentially the equivalent of a diamond chest, I think. It might be quite a bit bigger actually, but that's sort of the crafting equivalent of a diamond chest, which is, you can see here, actually it's just blocks of quartz. So tier 6. The tier 5 is definitely bigger than a diamond chest, but tier 6 seems to be the crafting equivalent. Like that. And it also allows you to do it with alumite and shiny or platinum. But this goes up to tier 8, which is as ridiculous as Manulan and Nether stars, believe it or not. And so it's quite a bit different. Plus they connect. They're double chests that connect. Where's my ME system without turning too much? So I've actually added the tier 2 in here because I didn't realize there's a tier 8 when I did this crafting recipe. So we can craft 1 through tier 7. I don't know why I said tier 2. Despite having a bit of time and energy, I am quite tired. So there's the tier 7. So 9 by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 9 by 11. but there's like 3 pages of that. It scrolls. And they make double chests. And they scroll. So that's pretty slick. So that's that. Enhanced inventories, pretty awesome. The other thing we've added is advanced inventories, which is also very, very cool. I've added this inventory upgrade. Basically, there's different tiers of these, which allow me to have access to these different areas. So you can see there's 6 dots. Basically, there's a basic and advanced, and you are inventory upgrade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1 only gives you access to one of these slots. Basically, whatever the red line is around is the one that I'm actually working with, which shows these module slots. Pretty sweet. And then, for example, that is a bug. But anyways, I was trying to test it with something. So basically, I took these, what are they called? Zombie aspects from practicalities, or these aspects, and added them to an auto void. So in this 3x3, I have a item collector with an item voider and an item filter. The item filter is to control what gets collected, right? So item filter is showing that these 6 things are getting collected, and they don't have to necessarily match the position that I'm getting them from. And the void is saying that these are being just tossed away. And then the upgrade is saying which priority. So item collector is saying that everything that's collected within this filter, this is where it goes, priority 1. Then these I was using to build some stuff, and this was just for building material really as well. And basically all of these have a restock, an item provider, that will only provide if it's in your hotbar. And it'll just funnel its way in. So that's pretty sweet right there. It's a really, really neat kind of mod, really simple, works really well. A little derpy visually, but it works really well. So let's talk about our new plan for life. Let's talk about our journey here, what we're going to take. We are going to use words to describe the journey. That was rough. We are going to embark on a journey together. A journey that I'm hoping will be involved. It'll be interesting. It'll be fun. And it'll be a learning experience for all of us. I forgot to take out this iron block. Okay, so we have a mod that we've added called Advanced Rocketry. This is the launching point of our journey, no pun intended. But in Advanced Rocketry, a lot of the blocks are made with these iron plates. And while they are ore dictionaried, and we have a lot of ways to make them, if you didn't have other mods like IC2 that made plates, you wouldn't have a lot of ways. And so you're looking at these machines in Advanced Rocketry and you're saying, I need to make plates. I don't have a rolling machine. So let's look at what's required for the rolling machine. Oxidized ferric sand, iron plates. Okay. So the rolling machine requires steel plates, right? Well, steel plates can really only be made in a rolling machine or with the small plate presser, which is like this. So what you do is you take the item that you want to have a plate of, and you put a block right here. This, though it looks like a piston, is actually an item called a small plate presser, which is a piston with 3 irons, and has to be an empty space and then obsidian. And what you do is you give a redstone signal, and Papa Pooey, it squishes it down into an iron plate, or whatever metal you have in there. It doesn't work with all metals, like mod metals and things. It won't make all of these plates, I don't think. Or no, it will probably, I don't know if it'll do tin, actually. Yeah, it won't make tin. And it probably won't make titanium, but we'll see at some point, I'm sure. Where was I going? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, we are going to use advanced rocketry, for which I have made this building. Not entirely happy with. I'm not unhappy with it, but it's definitely not done. I got to put like some thrusters on the bottom, but this is like our giant rocket ship. Okay, this rocket ship is not going to be obviously the ship, but it is going to be the launching point of our journey. So here's map of journey. Map of journey will include our to-do list. At the very moment, I can tell you that our to-do list includes things like gather aluminum. What the? I gotta fix that. Okay, I thought I had the large text selected for these titles. I may not have, obviously. Whoops. Actually, you know what? Let's just try this. This is gonna throw it all off center. Centering on these things is a beast. Let's have a look-see. Map. Almost there. This is why I'm not actually centering everything. I'm just centering the titles of each screen. Because I did this for a while earlier. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to do this on camera. This is going to be so dull. Guess what? I'm going to do it anyways. Map of... probably about 5 more. Close enough for now. I'll fix it later. Journey. What? Ooh, I wonder, actually. Let's do this. Let's do map of journey. Boom. Okay, there we go. That's why. All right, map of journey. Close enough. I'll fix the centering some other time. So our first thing is going to be gathering resources and things that we don't already have a lot of. And that is this will be populated kind of on and off with different things. Sorry about that. So, gathering aluminum is one thing that I know we will need for certain, and I'll explain that in a while. To the stars, our goal is going to have to deal with us getting to space with that. Now, before a lot of you write this off, because this is a pretty common goal for mod packs and for playthroughs, get to space and do this. We're not using Galacticraft. We're not going to Galacticraft space, okay? We're using advanced rocketry. Now, our goal is going to be to get to space. Win. No. So, build space station. Not the Galacticraft one. It'll be different, trust me. Then do a, there's going to be more goals in this. This is just kind of my preliminary thoughts. Then we will need to make a reactor in space. I'll explain that in a minute. Sphax. And then we need to do a, what's it called? Reactor, oh yeah. Space-based mining. Okay. Oops, I need to fix that or it'll drive me insane. So here's the plan. We got to gather a bunch of mats. We got to go to space using advanced rocketry. Then we have to build a space station, which advanced rocketry has a system for that to handle that. And then reactor in space, we got to build a fancy reactor and eventually set up a space mining operation. That's our goal. At iLabs, we are going to conquer the space race. Now, advanced rocketry is super cool. Oh, I forgot the column. Excuse me, little steppy parts there. This is some of the stuff from advanced rocketry I've set up already. This is their arc furnace. This takes iron, which I guess we've processed already, and turns it into steel. It's not quick, but it works. Power on top, half bricks on the bottom. Bada boom. That's that. This is the rolling machine, which we were looking at earlier. I have advanced from, because the problem with this is it takes 9 ingots per plate, right? So it's not really feasible for all the time. It's not really productive. But we come on up over here. We go into the rolling machine, which is accessed via the inventory hatches, like so. Pop that off, pop that back on. Where's my power at? Oh, I put it over here. Tesseract this bad boy. Like so. Oh, I had another. I forgot about that. And you should see, yep, power's coming in. And can we see the ingots, please? There we go. An ingot comes through. The ingot gets squished and turned into a big plate, which is then put into here. There's obviously, we had some in there before. It's not processing through 27. Now, I love these models. They're a little like half cartoony, half realistic, which I'm not a huge fan of. But I love like immersive engineering and stuff with these really cool multi-block models. But you know, they worked really well, and I do like the animations a lot. So why don't we grab some of that iron out of here, like so. Come over to our input hatch on our lathe, which is going to take our 1 iron ingot and turn it into an iron rod, which we will get out of here. All right, so we're making iron rods. Obviously, I made a bunch. I love that animation. I love that model. How do you make these? Well, you shift right click the hollow projector, which is some optical sensors with an iron plate, which is just some glass, gold plate, and some glowstone. So you shift right click it and it brings up this menu, this awesome menu. So say you want to make the rolling machine. You select the rolling machine and you give it a right click. So this is the base of the rolling machine. These are actual like blocks. These are not client-side only holograms. These are real blocks that it's put down and labeled as such. You can see phantom block name, which means if you want to get rid of them, you literally just break it. Right? Or it'll time out eventually. So this is the bottom layer of this structure. So if we look at it in Whaley here, it says RF plug. We see machine block is what that is actually. So that's why it just says machine output hatch. So you're looking at RF plug. You're looking at the tank. You're looking at the machine structure blocks. You're looking at the output hatch. So you can see that they correspond to that. And then you shift scroll and it brings you to the second layer of the cross section. Shift scroll again. It'll show the whole thing. Pretty darn cool. And you can actually place the blocks right in on top of these, and it's supposed to delete them and put those blocks like it. You don't need to break them and then put it down. It'll do that when you right click it with the appropriate block. And you'll see us build this. Like this is not a tutorial. This is just my fascination coming through. Yeah, this episode's gonna be a little bit longer, but that's okay. So we've got lots to do. We got lots to do in this building. It'll be fun. Be lots of fun. And eventually we'll make a little output off the side. So where does this really differ than Galacticraft other than the machines used to make it? Well, space is handled a little differently. And you can go to the moon. There's planets and stuff as well that you can go to. I don't know how many of them are in this alpha. But there is this whole satellite system that he has implemented. And you can launch satellites into space. Your rocket ship can be customized. It's not just a little tube that you make in a crafting bench. It is, you have to build a launch pad, and then you have to build some build scaffolding that you see on rockets before, on like actual space-bound rockets and things. Those scaffolds that hold them up before they launch. That is all a part of this. And then you put blocks on it, and you can make it look like whatever you want, as far as I know. There'll be another mod coming in at some point with that aspect to it as well to help us out. So anywho, that's how we're going to get into space using advanced rocket-freaking-tree. Okay. The next is power. So we're going to have this space-based laser system, right? So we're going to start to do something here, and this is going to sound crazy, but we have to get into reactor craft. Now, if you're not familiar with what reactor craft is, it's scary. It's very scary. So, we are going to be using, excuse me. Sorry. We're going to be using reactor craft to build a like toroid-sized reactor in space. So toroid is a big circle. So in keeping with the trend, I've made a rotary craft based building for my rotary craft stuff. So we've added rotary craft, reactor craft, and electric craft. And so basically this building is actually supposed to look like this, the force field generator from the rotary craft. And I think it kind of does, but I'm pretty happy with this build. I did it several times because it kept blowing up in my tests. Eventually, I did the tests somewhere else, and we'll talk about that later. So I've been doing some creative testing and playing around a bit with rotary craft, and it's pretty awesome. It always has been, but I've always been afraid of it. So we're going to get into it. I've gotten into it quite a bit, and I've not on this pack though. I've done very few things, and we'll explain all of them in a little while. One thing about the rotary craft that we're going to talk about is the sound effects, though. They are super loud, usually. So we're going to get into all of this, but we're going to use rotary craft to make a reactor in space that actually looks like a toroid reactor. I don't really know another way to explain it. It looks like a particle accelerator. It's a big circle of magical technology. It's huge and it produces a crap ton of power. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it. It's super complicated, but that's my ambition. So I will be filling this up with things as we go. The next episode will be us actually working towards that goal. This was donated by Taco, if I never mentioned that. I've got a lot of things to do, not the least of which is to create an actually semi-permanent tree farm and collect the leaves. So that's gonna happen. Leaf collection soon, I hope. Absolutely. That should be happening soon-ish. Okay, so that's where we're at. The only thing I've done, okay, so I haven't actually talked about, I should probably address this. I do plan on doing some magic intermixed and blood magic amongst some other crafty type stuff. So I started to get through some of the nitty gritty grinding of things. So I've got a tier 2 altar right now. It's not fancy, but my big blood altar building works real well for me. So I've done a little bit of work. I'm going to have to completely revamp my ME system because I've been working on this and I realized having my controller where it is pretty dumb. Not dumb, it's just not that practical because of all the stuff around it. So I've got a lot of auto crafting stuff back in the chunk buster. Now my one chunk tower that is an FPS crapshoot, it's I don't want to go back there too much if I can avoid it. I'll go back to the overworld and get grass and maybe, I don't know, we'll set up a tree from here. I don't know. But I don't want to go back there because it is ridiculously bad on FPS. So we're gonna avoid that. But anyways, it's some of the automation is there. Just know that like a lot of the machine-based automation for getting glass and stuff is there. What I've got in this system right now is basically the ability to turn magical crops dye essence into dye. And also to turn it into lag cables. So if we look here and I go craftable, you can see we got the color blocks of quartz because I needed them to build that amongst most of my builds are using that quartz from extra utilities. The frequency quartz. I gotta talk about that later. And then I've added autocrafting for storage drawers, for enhanced inventories, for some basic ME stuff, and all of the different colors of ME cable. because that's really going to come in handy. I just kind of ground when I knew my microphone was coming back. I just sort of sat through and worked on the nitty gritty. So I hope you guys are excited for that. Basically, so my mic was broken, and you would have heard it in streams if you hung around. I couldn't really tell you what it was that was causing it per se. But I tried everything. It's a USB based cardioid microphone, so it could have been a lot of things related to USB, and that's just kind of what I assumed it was. It ended up not being that. I sent it back to Blue, and Blue said, yeah, this isn't really up to our standard. I was told to test it at 50% volume recording. This is way a sort of like fourth wall dead, if there ever was one. The episode's over. I'm going to end it right after this little speech, but if you're curious what happened to me, a little bit of what happened to me, stick around. But yeah, I sent the mic back to them, and they said it's not up to our standard at all, because even in the tests, I sent them a sound clip, I sent them images of the wave recording, I sent all sorts of stuff to say, like, look, it's broken, and they said, yeah, no problem, we'll take a look at it. They were really good. Blue's return policy and return system is really good. I've had the mic for almost a year, about 8 months actually, I guess, and they were really good about getting it back to me, and I had to ship it to them, but that's not that big of a deal. So I shipped it to them, they take a look at it, they say, when you're testing it, make sure your volume is set at 50%. I had to record with my volume at about 100% before. Now, I haven't actually looked at it to see what it was, but you should be able to hear yourself at 50%. Not great, to be honest, but you can hear it. I couldn't before. Clicking noises, it picked up all sorts of nonsense. It's much better now. They sent me a new one because it was just a mess. The old microphone was very much a mess. So they replaced it. But yeah, it's, you know, that was my lips, by the way. That was one thing. I've been waiting for weeks for that, because it took them a couple of days, and it was a weekend. It really, like, evaluation time was a day, decision time was 2 days, and then shipping time was 2 days. It was very quick for the microphone. And then the other thing that's happened since then, my sound card has died. So I'm kind of getting my way through that. Divergence hit me like a truck, but it's not a very good recording back. It's okay to stream. I had, obviously, my son a while back, and so we've been kind of adjusting to some of that. Work's been crazy, life's been crazy, and I could barely sit in my chair for half an hour without getting an excruciating sore back. So I have a new chair now. Life is good. Everybody's happier now that I have a new chair. So we are going to be doing some work here in the 1710 Redux private place, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you have any suggestions for the space venture, for our journey together, do leave them below. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think. If you're interested in it, if you like my off-center thingy, if you have any suggestions as to what else we could be doing with that or with Rotorcraft, definitely let me know. I got some ideas, and I'm excited. So until next time, though, guys, I've been Tausty. Thanks for hanging out, and do come back. I demand it. Deuces.